Welcome to Acts of Awakening, a series of heartfelt conversations about the roles that we play, the masks that we wear, and the archetypes we embody. Acts of Awakening is a play place to unpack the moments in life that call us to change roles and dissolve masks, individuating us into the next version of ourselves. Together, we will explore the perspective of the cosmic play, inspiring soulful insights and a deeper understanding of the journey of becoming. Host Suri Sawyer is a certified death doula, Reiki healer, yoga guide, ancestral medicine practitioner, and multidimensional psychic. As a walking transmission, equal parts cosmic mirror, soul whisperer, and multidimensional midwife, she embodies the energy of a lucid dream, soft yet activating, grounded yet infinite. Suri weaves shadow and light without fear. Her essence feels like plant medicine incarnate. Her presence initiates recalibration and an invitation into introspection, remembrance, and sacred revolution. Now here's your host, Suri Sawyer.
Good evening, beautiful human beings. It's been a minute since I've been here, and I am thrilled to be back online with you. Jennifer Rose, it is so good to see you. And I see my own self commenting on my own video. It's great to see me too. And I can't mend my shadow 217. Thank you also for being here. Normally at the beginning of every show, I go over archetypes that I think can be attributed to the person that I'm speaking to. However, the person that I'm speaking to today has broken the mold. I can't really ascribe one or two or three archetypes to this person because they simultaneously embody all and none. The sacred paradox. I am everything and nothing simultaneously. Love tells me I am everything, while wisdom tells me I'm nothing, and between the two I flow. And I feel like this is actually the way to describe our guest today, whose name is Colleen Ariel. And instead of going over an archetype today, I actually would like to introduce you to her through her music. You can feel her soul, you can feel her essence, and also what she stands for here on planet Earth. So, Kay Weezy, it is so good to see you. I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother. We'll bring some prayers forward for your grandmother. If you would please put her name in, and possibly Colleen and I can sing a call on her behalf. So if you'll, Kay Weezy, put your name in, her name in, and we'll celebrate that in great beauty. So now to listen to the beautiful Colleen sing a song of praises to ayahuasca and bobansana and life.
Bobansana kura kura, Bobansana kura kura. Gaseous poderosa medicine, denso spiritus de luz. Gracias, gracias, sirenita poderosa del agua. Gaseous poderosa medicina, Bobansana pura cura, gaseous poder canción de corazón, la 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 la. Siriana los sueños, gracias poderosos del miel, poderosa medicina, gracias por la canción de corazón. Gracias, gracias, sirenita poderosa agua.
And that is Colleen Ariel. So, Colleen, you wrote this song. Will you please share with us what it means?
Wow. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to your show and this connection, the sisterhood connection. And, you know, the gratitude to the ayahuasca, working with you in ayahuasca here on the mountain in many ceremonies. But this particular song is a gratitude song to ayahuasca and Bobansana, which is a master plant that I've been working with since 2011. And she's a mermaid spirit. And she's very healing, and she helps people open their hearts and their throat. And the song's all about gratitude to the weaving in the dream realms, because she's a spirit that weaves in the dream realms. And a lot of people who have sat with me in the ayahuasca in silence on dieta, profound miracles happen while working with Bobansana. So it's just a gratitude song.
A gratitude song to ayahuasca and Bobansana. So for those of you witnessing this who may have mystery around what ayahuasca is or what plant medicine is, we would like to take some time today to actually dispel some of the mystery and to share stories of incredible magic, incredible healing. Colleen and I have recently been talking about gathering certain experiences that are sometimes unsafe to speak about. Because if you speak about them, certain people will be like, well, then you're absolutely insane, aren't you? And yes, I think you're crazy. However, it finally feels safe enough to speak about some of these experiences, some of the healing that is actually possible through ayahuasca, through Bobansana, and through other plant medicines. And so if you are willing to share, Colleen has a wild story. So please stay tuned about how she even arrived in the state that she's in right now, and how she found ayahuasca. So Colleen, will you share a little bit about your car accidents and your near-death experiences? Yeah, and you can tell them. I already know, but I'll sit beside you while you tell the people.
Well, I don't want to get too attached to my experiences, but storytelling is very important. And for me, both car accidents that I was in were all around shutting my voice down. And I didn't realize that this was actually a deep trauma that I held when I was 3 years old. I had croup, my father said, and they put me in the hospital. I was alone in a room in a cage, like an actual cage. My father said there was actually a top on it, and I couldn't get out. There were no one in the room with me. Nobody could be around me, because it was a horrific experience. I was experienced at 3 with my throat. And I didn't know about this, but when I drank ayahuasca after my second car accident, the ayahuasca took me back to that trauma when I was 3 and healed that trauma and showed me that that was why I was always harming myself around being in car accidents. My first car accident, I was 16, and I was half an inch away from my jugular vein, and I wore a neck brace for 3 months, and it shut my voice down. My second car accident, I was unconscious for 3 days in a coma, and I broke my jaw. I have a metal plate holding my mouth together, and that took about 2 years to be able to open my mouth again. And it was all around my voice. So this trauma stemmed back to when I was 3, and it's beautiful that the ayahuasca showed me these traumas so that I could heal that, so that I wouldn't recur these same traumas again and again and again. So that's the power of the ayahuasca and my beginning journey with her of healing myself through these very traumatic car accidents.
Yeah. I also, for myself, witness in Colleen the reality that sometimes our greatest gift becomes the thing that is the most obstructed or hard to obtain or hard to even hold ownership over. And so I've always found it interesting in the storytelling that you shared with me that you've had these traumatic experiences that were shutting down literally the medicine that you came to share.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. All right. How did you find ayahuasca?
So after my second car accident, being in a coma for 3 days, I woke up with a broken jaw. I went through the window shield, so I had internal bleeding on my left brain, and I had a broken wrist, dislocated shoulder, dislocated hips. And I was in a wheelchair for 3 months, and my girlfriend showed up with a girlfriend of hers and said, hey, you should work with ayahuasca here in Vancouver right away with a maestro that's here to help you with these injuries. And I didn't know anything about ayahuasca. And then another friend of mine visited who was a biofeedback practitioner before my car accident. He would come and do one-on-ones with me. And he said, Colleen, while you're in the wheelchair, why don't you listen to these discourses of Terence McKenna? Ooh. And Terence McKenna is a true master on the wisdom of the plants, mainly ayahuasca, mushrooms. But he wrote a beautiful book. And I listened to that for 3 months while I was in the wheelchair, and it taught me all about ayahuasca. And as soon as I could walk on the cane, I started working with ayahuasca right away on the island in Vancouver, BC at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let her tell you about it. But when she has shared this with me, when she first sat with Aya, the first thing it said to her was, Colleen, just be.
Mm-hmm.
Just be. And I'm curious for listeners right now, do you know how to just be? Right? It's actually a consistent practice for me, because sometimes when I'm just being, I think, oh, I should do this, or I should do that, or oh, maybe I should be doing the dishes, or maybe I should be doing this. But what if I could just be? It sounds so simple, and usually the most fundamental truths are simple. However, they're very hard to execute. So how did you learn to be?
Well, the first time I drank, I was shaking. I was just getting out of the wheelchair, and I was terrified. And I drank, and I had all these injuries that I wanted ayahuasca to heal. And she just said, Colleen, just be. And I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, just be your beautiful self. You don't have to try. You don't have to prove anything. Just be your beautiful self, which means just be in the now, be in your beauty. And so she taught me that a lot of my gifts, I don't have to prove myself. I just have to be and radiate my light and speak my truth and sing my songs and just be in my beautiful essence. And that's enough.
I really want you all to hear that. You don't have to try to be who you are. You're already being it. So just be it so beautifully that it radiates from every cell. That is the medicine. That is the work. That is the authenticity code. That's how we access authenticity, is just by being.
Yeah, and to honor the gift of being a spirit, being the soul in this time, not trying to figure it out in the logical mind, but returning back to remembrance. Just being is also remembering that you're a multidimensional, eternal, galactic being.
You're a multidimensional, eternal, galactic being. You want to tell them one more time?
We all are. We all have such
Mhm.
profound gifts, and it's returning to remembrance of just being in that essence and quieting down the mind, quieting down all the chatter, and remembering your unique gifts and why you are here, what your service is, and the beauty of a blink of an eye. This life is being in 2 car accidents. It's a blink of an eye, and we don't know. I could be in a car accident tonight or tomorrow again. So these car accidents taught me a lot. Just honor every precious moment, and just be in your beauty. And thank you for these plant medicines to remind us and to help us return to our innocence, that child wonder like that we have when we come into this earth. It's so pure before we're indoctrinated in the educational system, sat down in a chair with a textbook in front of us. We should be homeschooled and running in the forest. And this is when our gifts can truly come alive. And some of us have gifts of clairvoyance, psychic abilities, on and on and on. But returning to our innocence and just being in our pure beauty. I pray that for all of humanity. And these medicines, especially ayahuasca, are here to remind us. So I'm very grateful for my journey. And I hope that perhaps a little bit of my experience can ripple effect and touch others.
It already is.
Yeah.
I'd like to share with you a little bit about how I met Colleen. I saw her at our local restaurant. Hello, Courtney Lopez. I saw her at our local restaurant.
Hi,
here.
Courtney. Courtney's worked with me in Canada.
Yay! It's good to have you, babe. I met her at a restaurant in town, and we crossed paths, but it was immediately like we locked eyes. And there is something
A remembrance.
a remembrance.
I remember the first time I locked eyes with you. It's like, okay, I was observing a couple months, but I knew you. Like I knew you, and I didn't want to be too forward because I was new to the mountain here, but I knew when I finally approached you that you would receive the medicine that the remembrance of sisterhood. It's very deep.
Eons deep, who knows how long, but it was it was a remembering, but then also, okay, what do we remember exactly, And I had taken a long break specifically from ayahuasca. I gave myself some time, and I started feeling her call me again. And I was like, okay, she's calling. I wonder how that will occur, because I don't seek it out. It comes to me when it's time. So I was like, I wonder how that will happen. And this beautiful woman here was like, do you want to come sit with Aya this weekend? This was a while ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I do. I was wondering how it was going to re-enter my life. And I was invited in, and we sat in the medicine in potentially what could have been for me, and I think for you too, one of the most powerful ceremonies that we've sat in. We sat the first night, and I had taken about a year and a half off of ayahuasca. My experience of this was, as soon as the medicine hit me, she came in and she was like, oh, honey, you've gotten a little out of tune since you were last here. And I felt her going through my central column and cleaning it out and like tuning me up and getting my tuners back like into alignment. And I started singing from that attunement. And I was like, there she is. I don't know what happened to her, but she's back. She is grateful and she is resurrected. The second night, we had this opportunity, and Colleen can share more about this, to sit with two very well-held and honorable elders from the Sacred Valley in Peru, and two really beautiful masters of the medicine here in Costa Rica. And for me, I was sitting with Colleen, who I had seen her the night before, and I was like, who are you? What kind of angel magic is this? And so now I'm sitting in a room of actual masters. And I thought to myself, I don't belong here. I really don't belong here. I don't know why I'm here. This is weird. I don't know how I like slipped through the cracks of the ethers to be here. That actually was not the case. Being in that ceremony was a reminder to me that I do belong there. And the way healing sometimes works, the way ayahuasca works, the way telepathy works, every person in the room was talking with me telepathically, reminding me, no, you do belong here. Sit up. You do belong here. Be fortified from the inside. You do belong here. Pray with us. And it brought me forward in a way that I had long since forgotten. I would even say beyond this lifetime. I had amnesia about the amount of power that I hold, but also was being simultaneously taught, you are so powerful, be humble. And this was kind of like the initiation of our sisterhood, which has been so powerful and beautiful. And so that's how we met. And it just was like, just took off from there. You got any words of wisdom on that?
Oh, well, it was just such an honor to have you in my home with the Shipibo elders from Peru, and another woman, Guadalupe, who's quite well known here from Costa Rica, and another shaman, Pedro La Rosa, arrived, and then another woman, Laura. And so it was a beautiful group. And it was my first time sitting with you and having you in my home with the elders. I had been sitting with the elders previous many times. And was just truly honored to see what would transform in our connection. And it was mind blowing. Like Suri, just her voice, her expertise in music, her joy, her little girl. She's so playful. I'm honored to be continuing holding retreats with you. That's coming up in February and March. But these 2 nights, yeah, literally the prayers went out, and I've heard from the elders and Pedro. It was a great prayer, and what we're weaving and what we're creating. And the time is now to inspire those who wish to unite and feel safe and nurtured with the ayahuasca, because there's a lot of circles out there where, you're not very held. It's not very nurturing, but yeah, this was a different kind of circle, and everybody singing and taking turns sharing their medicine. It was truly beautiful. I'm still so flabbergasted actually at what we created, and wow. So
It's true.
yeah, it's really beautiful.
It is beautiful. Something funny happens to me and Colleen when we're making music. It doesn't matter what song is being sung. If she's singing a song, it's like we're sharing a mind. And I'm like, I know this song. My ego doesn't know it, but my soul does. And she does the same thing. And it's almost like we're reading the same script, and we jump in, and like harmonies and rhythms and all this stuff starts to birth from the musical space when we're working together. And it is just so powerful. How do me know if you have a gift? I'm not sure. And thank you also for loving the music. Kay Weezy, don't worry, you're in my docket, and we're coming back to this toward the end.
What was the question?
Oh, I'm just reading some of the things that people. The question doesn't quite make sense if we have a gift, but the gift is us, Allison. We're the gift. You're the gift. We're all the gift. It's all a gift.
I like to share anybody that doesn't remember what their gifts are. I say, okay, return to when you're a child. What was the very first thing that made you happy? Okay, maybe it was being in nature. Maybe it was playing a certain sport. Maybe it was cooking in the kitchen with your mom. Just go back and try and remember. Go back to when you were at least 3 to 4 years old. What brought you the most joy? That can always help assist people to return to their innocence before you went to school, before you were indoctrinated, before you forgot. What were your gifts? And maybe it was creating in the sandbox. You liked to build. Maybe you liked to sing. For me, I as a little child, I would always run in the field and look up in the sky and sing. I remember hearing my voice the first time and going, whoa, that's my voice. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. Yeah, this has helped a lot of people that have come to me over the years. This kind of advice, just return to when you're a child and try and remember the thing that brought you the most joy.
Yeah, what lights your soul on fire, right? Oh. One thing that I'd like to bring forward, Colleen already touched on it. Not all psychedelic containers are created equally. There's a lot, if you are interested in looking into the medicine, there's a lot to consider. One aspect is, how long has someone been practicing? That's important. Another aspect is, you want to ask around, what experiences have other people had with this person? And with the greatest respect in the world, just because someone is indigenous does not mean it's a safe container. this is something that Colleen and I actually have been working on because we are pretty white women. Who are we to be doing this work? But we are. And quite frankly, we do it quite beautifully. So what you want to do is feel into your gut instincts, right? When I'm contemplating to sit with someone, what happens in my gut? Do I feel okay? Do I feel nervous? What's happening in my heart? Bypass the brain as best you can and notice the somatic response that you're having as you're looking at different practitioners in a potential to sit somewhere. What I have observed in some of the spaces is that somebody may be very well versed and have been doing it for a really long time, but I'll go and sit in the space and realize very quickly that that person doesn't know how to contain the energy. And me as a cute little white woman ends up being the one containing the energy, and I'm not even holding the container. And it's kind of mind-blowing. And so it's about the soul. You're looking for the soul who can carry you through. And also there's a bunch of different practitioners, each one having different gifts, and you will vibrationally align to the practitioner that has the medicine specifically for you. With that being said, I would like for Colleen to share a little bit about how long she has been practicing to get to where she is now and what curandera work is and what even is a curandera. I'm imagining that so many people here haven't even heard the term. So Colleen, will you share with us a little bit about your, I don't even want to call it education because that's a word that doesn't really apply to this, but will you share with us a little bit about your opening into your gifts, your talents, and your capacity to offer and create wellness for others through studying the medicine?
Absolutely. Thank you. This is a really important question. Because when I first sat, I sat with a man from Peru, and my first time was 4 nights in a row. And there were some unintegral things that came up in the ceremony. And I knew this was not somebody I wanted to sit with again. And soon after, I joined my chief's Inipi sweat lodge. And I shared my experience with the ayahuasca and why I was there and why I was trying to heal all my injuries. And at the end of the Inipi sweat lodge, he said, "You need to meet a magician maestro." And he's like, it's very, you have to be very low profile because he's working here in Canada and you can't share his name. But he's a magician. He's not just, a shaman and so there's a big difference, he said. And I didn't know the difference. I was just learning. So I said, "Thank you so much. I'm honored." And then I sat with this magician named Don, and he's now close to his 80s. And he was initiated maestro in Colombia, Peru. He helped with the Sundance in Peru. And so I worked with him from then on. I didn't work with anyone else, but he taught me everything about curandero, which is the man that's running healing work in the ayahuasca ceremonies, and curandera is a woman shaman. And so I'm considered a curandera, and my shaman.
Hold on, say that. She's a curandera, just to state it.
But it's almost 18 years now. It didn't happen overnight, and my journey's been quite long. And I'm grateful for my maestros and maestras, and sitting in silence and dieta that goes hand in hand with serving ayahuasca. To quiet your mind and to really practice what your gifts, okay? And my gifts is my voice. Mm-hmm. And just for hours, for days, I would just rattle and learn how to sing Icaros with my rattle so that I could be strong on the ayahuasca and hold tight, sacred, nurturing space for those who were coming to me for healing. And for me, it stems from healing myself. And I also, all the people I have worked with, the curanderas, maestros, maestras, I track and I make sure it comes from healing. And it's not coming from like 100 people or 80 people in a ceremony and playing a guitar all night long, back to back for 4 hours. And it's not a concert. There's sound healing being offered. Because after my first car accident when I was 16, I learned how to heal myself from sound therapy. So that was amplified when I started working with ayahuasca after my second car accident. So all the things that I was mastering and teaching and learning from all people all over the globe, everything that you work on in your craft is amplified on the ayahuasca. Whatever your gifts are, if that's your greatest prayer, to work on it, just be careful what you wish for, and so it is.
And so it is. Be careful what you wish
Yeah.
for, because you just might get it.
And so
You just
curandera,
might
to
get
answer
it.
your question, is like somebody who is offering healing
Mhm.
in ceremony, working with tools. So here's some Florida water. I like to work with Florida water, which is a protective ointment that keeps entities and dark spirits away. I work with Hepe, which is a very powerful tool that can quiet the mind, cleans the body out, and works with the ayahuasca as a powerhouse. Palo Santo, which is a smudge that I work with in ceremonies, and I've been trained to offer Palo and Malpacho on the chakras and helping people when they're struggling while they're purging or grieving, that I come over with my tools, and all the tools that I work with are natural deaths, all the feathers, everything have been gifted to me from my maestros. So curandero work is like the curandero shaman who's drinking the ayahuasca, and the people are coming to sit with them. They're working. They're up on their feet and offering healing, and whatever their gifts are. Maybe like for me, I've been healing myself since I was 16. So whatever gifts I have, they come alive. So I'm working with the chakras, I'm working with the light body, the ayahuasca. I'm the instrument. I get out of the way, and as soon as I drink, the tools. As soon as I pick up a tool, that eagle feather is alive and guiding me to offer healing on somebody who may be struggling. In that time. So that's a little example. We could go on and on and on. There's lots to share
For
about.
1,000 years. I have a couple questions, but before I go forward with those, I'd like to share about the eagle feather and the healing and actually experiencing her gifts for myself. So I would like to talk a little bit about the hape, which is tobacco that cleanses, clears, and clears your mind. At the end of a ceremony that Colleen and I were playing in on Christmas, that's how we spent Christmas. Welcome to the new Christmas. We had this beautiful ceremony. Colleen and I sang all night. We danced all night. I had just read this beautiful poem. Things were on fire. And then she offered hape. She served me the hape, and immediately I went into my own very deep healing process. I walked to the edge of the maloka, the sacred container that we were in. And in my mind's eye, I could see something was coming up for cleansing. And it felt like on my lower back, a door opened and my DNA was pulled out. And I was looking at this long line of just kind of really gross, controlling, weird sexual energy. This is the thing that had been in my DNA for so long. And I also could feel everything in my existence as Suri that this energy had kind of spidered out and attached to. I was witnessing all of it. And if you know anything about ayahuasca, I was almost vomiting. I didn't vomit, but I was purging energy from like deep inside my body. Colleen came up and took her eagle feather directly to the part on my back where I felt like this work was taking place. And she began to sweep and sweep and sweep away and cleanse and clear this part of my body. Because it's personal, I don't feel like sharing. If you guys want to reach out to me, I'd be happy to share, but not in a public state. But after she did the clearing, she came up to me and told me what it was that she cleared, which I also could confirm that that's what it was that she cleared. And so it was the combination of being with ayahuasca, the grandmother of fantastic healing, and has shown me over and over, healing is not what people think it is. It exists in the soul. It exists in the psyche. That's where it originates. And if you can get to that, everything else falls into place, into the alignment. And so it was the combination of grandmother medicine, thank you, hape medicine, thank you, grandfather, and Colleen also holding the space so beautifully that that could occur in a safe way.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So that's curandera.
That's a curandera work. All right. My next question is, what is an Icaros? Because you said I learned the Icaros and I was like, does anybody know what an Icaros is? I do, but will you tell the people what an Icaros is?
There's many different Ikaros, and this is part of the path. If you're going to be working with ayahuasca, you want to sit with an elder or somebody who has trained with the ayahuasca for hopefully over 10 years, at least 10 years. Do your research. And hopefully they've done dieta and they've learned these Ikaros from their elders. And these Ikaros are passed down. And it's an initiation. And each Ikaros is different. It varies. One is, for protection. One is for healing. One is for guidance. One is for clarity. Every Ikaros is completely different, and they're very, very powerful. It's a healing frequency that's being offered to the space to protect or for healing for the client who's coming for healing. And it's very powerful with or without ayahuasca. It's a sound frequency, and we can dive deep into how all of creation is sound and all of creation is frequency. Every plant, every tree has a different song. Everything is alive. Everything is singing a certain song. And so when you can tune into the medicine and the frequency of the potency of life, you can learn these Ikaros, which are very special medicine songs, vibrational songs that are offered, again, for healing, guidance, clarity, protection, arkandas, on and on and on. So it's a lot to sit in ceremony, but then when you're in the presence of an elder that's offering an Ikaros, that can take you really deep on the ayahuasca, and it'll take you to areas perhaps that you've blocked out, that you have forgotten. These Ikaros bring up a lot for people, and they're very healing. It's ultimately, Ikaros are for healing.
KK, yes. We're going to plug it, but we actually have 2 retreats here in Costa Rica, one February 7th through the 14th, and one in March. If any of this is calling to anyone, you can contact either Colleen or myself, and please come and allow us to work with you, to play with. Hi, Luna Margaret. Come and allow us to work with you and to work with us. I'd like to share, for me, the Ikaros are like a technology, like an ancient spiritual technology that certain people on the planet still remember how to use. And it's really cool when you meet someone who remembers how to use the technology.
It's a language, and it's codes.
It's
right?
codes.
And it's coding your DNA, your water cells, and helping restore and bring back your remembrance and your water cells, your DNA, back to your true source. So yeah, it's a language, and it's a very ancient, sacred language. Thank you. And a frequency. So
it's a frequency, a language, a technology. And at certain points when I have received Ikaros, it does feel like someone or something has taken my DNA and stretched it out and is literally cleaning it with like a magnet and pulling all of the stuff that should not be in my DNA expression out of my body. And the effects of it are felt. Like, you can't go back to the old way that you used to be. And to a degree, that's kind of a warning. Once you heal, you can't go back to the old self. So when you're preparing for this work, you need to really be ready to let that go and become who you were meant to be. All right. We're going to take a little right turn. I usually say left turn, but we're going to take a right turn. Here's a lesson Colleen gave to me that was so powerful. And we're going to talk a little bit about sisterhood. So Colleen shines really brightly. I don't know if you guys can see this, but she's a star. And I'm also a star. I shine really brightly. But I'm accustomed to going underneath people to feel comfortable. So as Colleen and I were starting our dynamic together, I once said to her, just tell me what to do. I'm here to serve you. She said to me, I don't want you to serve me. We're doing this together. You follow your intuition. I'll follow my intuition. I don't want anyone. Who wants that? Who wants someone under them? I don't want that. I want a sister. I want a peer. I want an ally. And I've been in enough experiences where people actually, my role is served by letting them feel like they're bigger than me and more powerful than me and more important than me. And this was the first time in my really adult life that someone that I viewed as being very powerful and on her purpose. And I was like, yeah, like however I can serve you, because I just want to learn from you. So humble, right? She was like, no, get up. Nobody wants that.
And this is also a teaching for my maestro. It's like, it's empowerment, right? And that's kind of a template I hold. And anyone who comes and sits with me, I'm going to empower you. You know, and people, they drink one night and I've never sang and I sing with you. Like, what is that? I'm like, well, we all have a beautiful voice. We all have so many gifts that we don't even realize. And I'm here to empower you and help you remember your multidimensional gifts, because it's not just one, like we have many. Yeah. And discipline is really important with the ayahuasca, to discipline yourself and sit down and listen to, what are your gifts? What do you want? Why are you here? What are you here to serve? Serve to the Holy Mother, Father, Creator, but not to me. Serve for your higher self, for your calling, for your awakening and why you're here. Your journey is very precious and special. And I'm here to help you, empower you to remember that. And I'm honored to dance and co-create with you in that. And if we can reach singing and dancing and laughing and creating magic, then wow, that's the ultimate. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing me that.
Yeah.
As we were talking about, if you're looking to do medicine and you're looking for qualities in someone who serves, you want to look for someone who has enough humility to say, it's not me. Obviously, Colleen knows she's brilliant. She knows she's a brilliant singer. She knows she's talented. She knows she's gifted. But the healing that she does, she knows she's an instrument, and we can celebrate that she's an instrument. But what I really respect is that she's like, don't give me the praise. It's you, it's God, it's grandmother. And she steps out of the way. So if you're ever looking for a practitioner to work with, you want to find someone who is capable of dismantling their ego enough that they can step out of the way and say, it's not mine, baby. It's you and God. But I'm super happy to be on your path with you. That is a sign of someone that has enough integrity to carry you through things like this. And also, Michael's in. It is so good to see you. How you doing, brother? We can all learn from each other. A woman. And yes, we are superstars.
We're all walking each other home.
Yeah.
We are all walking each other home. There are people that come to me and they're terrified. They've never drank the ayahuasca. And after the next day we share, and everybody's sharing. And there's always something that somebody shares that teaches me, you know, gifts me something. It's just a beautiful time to be alive and to be receiving medicine from every single person who has remembered why they're here.
Yeah. The light bringers let you see your light. Yes, the light bringers let you see your light. Michael's in. That's a great quote. Can we make that into a t-shirt? Michael's in. My right now is to go on. His name is Michael Zinn. We love Michael Zinn. He also has his own show. He's a really special person. We love Michael Zinn. Do me a favor, Michael Zinn, and message me that in Facebook Messenger. I'm going to make a graphic about that later. So something that Colleen and I talk about often that's really misunderstood. If you're listening right now, listen very closely. This is a message about tobacco and nicotine everybody needs to hear, because there is a war on nicotine for a very specific purpose. And I'm going to allow Colleen to share with you a little bit about why nicotine is important and how we can be with it and consume it. You don't have to smoke. You don't have to necessarily take it, but there are some natural ways to get it in your body. And it is actually important for your health and well-being. Will you please tell us about it?
Absolutely. So happy is ancient. This comes back to, you know, the indigenous elders. So they work with tobacco, and even the children, you know, they do a little bit of tobacco before. It's meant to quiet the mind and bring you in your heart. And this is the purpose of tobacco. And so in the Western world, it's been definitely exploited with 4,000 chemicals added to these cigarettes that they're being distributed in every store at this point. But it's not tobacco. You're not receiving tobacco by buying these cigarettes. You're just being addicted to the chemicals. So we want to strip that and just get to the natural nicotine. And so Hepe has that. Reach out if you want to learn more about that. But that I'm offering in all my ceremonies. And or if you don't want to take in a snuff of Hepe, you can smoke natural tobacco. But again, if you don't want to smoke just pure nicotine, then you can get it in vegetables, which a lot of people don't know that.
Surprise, you guys.
Yeah, the highest nicotine is in eggplant is number one. So I love eggplant. I cut it up, I make pizzas and I put cheese on it and I bake them. And eggplant has the highest nicotine. Then white potatoes. You wonder why you like mashed potatoes and French fries. And yeah, so that has the highest nicotine. Tomatoes, red tomatoes, green tomatoes, on and on and on. So do your research if you would like to get nicotine in your body, especially during COVID when a lot of people received the jab. There's a lot of fear mongering happening around then and threatening people that they couldn't work at their jobs if they didn't get jab. And I have complete compassion for a lot of my good friends that were put in that that phase of needing to get the jab. And so if you have a weak organ in the body, the jab's going to go to that organ, whether, you hear all heart attacks and just suddenly drops, and all these people just dropping dead. Well, the jabs are a venom. It's a snake venom, and it'll go to the weakest organ in your body. So nicotine will stop that instantly, that binder. And why did the government during that time say this is a good time to quit smoking? When does the government ever talk like that? They are not here to help us. They want to get us addicted on the pharmaceuticals and be compliant for them. So we need to rise. We need to protect tobacco, get it in the body, and help all the organs in the body that need to thrive in this time. Your livers, your kidneys, your heart. A lot of people had heart attacks when they got the jab. You saw that all over. Sudden deaths, athletes just dying, dropping. So the nicotine is really, really number one, most powerful medicine on the planet, besides ayahuasca, which my indigenous elders taught me to always wear tobacco. And I have a medicine pouch that has tobacco in it. It's very protective, on and on and on, how powerful tobacco is. So thank you for bringing that up. And I like to share this wisdom, and may it go out and help many in this time. And maybe thrive as community and start planting.
I was just about to say, if everyone could start planting tobacco everywhere, because it used to grow all over the United States organically. And when I say that there's an attack on tobacco,
by 2030, they're trying to eradicate tobacco on the planet. So we have a responsibility right now. Tobacco, number one.
Tobacco, number one. Tobacco is often called the grandfather medicine. It's a masculine, protective, grounding energy. Why wouldn't we want that? It's because it's been misinterpreted and misused for so long. And of course, be careful with addictive behavior. Have moderation, right? Have temperance. And nicotine is a ally. And we've been taught a lot of misinformation about it, just because precisely that actually nicotine heals many things, especially when it's organic, especially when you grew it at your own home, especially when you can pick it yourself. Nicotine is important. If you feel called to this, plant some tobacco seeds. Even if you don't use them, maybe they'll be there for the next generation.
I had a friend who was doing ayahuasca with me for about 1.5 years in Canada, and he got jabbed 3 times because of his job. And all of a sudden he had a heart attack and he was in the hospital. He was unconscious for 4 days. The family called me in and said, Colleen, come in, hired me to come in and offer healing. I brought everything. And I walked in and I told the nurses, get out. And I shut the doors and I closed the curtains. And this man had been unconscious for 4 days, and I loved him. I was crying when I showed up. I did prayer. I opened with mapacho. They told me not to. They said, the only thing you can't do is tobacco. And I said, okay, get out. And I shut the curtains and I closed the doors. What did I do? I lit the mapacho. And I did prayer with the Malpacho. I sat on top of him on the bed. I blew Malpacho over his crown. I gave him a healing. I was in the room for about 3 to 4 hours. I did solfeggio tuning forks. It was mainly his brain. He was brain damaged by the heart attack, and I put a crystal bowl on his heart, drumming, you name it. I was there for 4 hours. The family was outside, watched me for 4 hours. I left. I was crying. I prayed. I said, okay, let's just pray for the best. An hour and a half later, they called me. He woke up. The whole hospital, all the nurses, they were like, who was that woman with the tobacco? They heard everything I was doing. And the family told the doctors, like, she is the true healer. You guys are a joke. And this happened in the hospital. I would love to have him as a special guest. He's coming to sit with me in Canada. But that's what's coming. These stories have to get out. It's very powerful, these modalities. And the tobacco is, I actually opened his mouth and blew Malpacho down his mouth. So these tools are very powerful. He was unconscious for 4 days. He had 3 jabs. I knew what it was. It's a venom. And then I told the wife, get him to get a patch of nicotine and nicotine in the body ASAP. And so she did. So the tobacco is stopping the binders of the snake venom in the jabs and helping many people on the planet in this time.
There is actual research that's been done since COVID has occurred and the jabs have occurred that actually proves that nicotine protects you from both. And if you're interested in that article, I wish I had the link prepared. I don't. I should have done that. However, if you're interested in receiving that information or looking it up for yourself, you can email me from my website, surisawyer.com, and I'll send you the article. Or just look it up. It's there. It's real. It's been researched. It's powerful. So that is some information. However, there's one thing I want to do. Kay Weezy's grandmother died, and we want to send her a prayer. Are you down for that?
Kay Weezy?
His name is Kay Weezy. I don't think, or their name. But they started this thing with us over here. And then I asked for her name, and it's Desi Marie Bursey. Desi Marie.
Desi Marie.
Desi Marie.
We are with you in this time during this podcast. Thank you for your relative to share that your passing has occurred. We wish you a gentle transition onto your new life. And thank you for bringing all of your gifts and medicine to this planet. I'm sure it'll ripple effect and touch all those in your journey onwards into your new life. May it be gentle, and we're with you in prayer, and bring peace to all those that still love you in this time and know you're not alone. The veil is so thin. We know that just in the physical passing does not mean you have passed. We can commune with you through prayer, especially on the plant medicines. We can speak to you, we can see you, we can dance with you, and always give gratitude to the eternal spark life spirit that you are. Oh, all my relations, thank you for being here in this time, beautiful soul, and for allowing us to pray for your grandmother. May she be in peace. Oh, and so it is.
Thank you, Desi Marie. Thank you for the impact that you have had on my life and everyone else's life, because it is impossible by the interconnectedness of all things that you have not impacted me. Thank you for teaching me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you also for being part of why Kay Weezy is here on the planet. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Desi. Thank you. And Kay Weezy, may your journey through the grief process just be blessed with so much love, support, care, tenderness, awareness. And so it is.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, I remember who you are. And every every soul that passes, they're in the sky. Our ancestors, our grandparents, they're all looking down, watching over, so proud of us. And it's one big family, whether we're here in this beautiful wrapper, thank you, but we're eternal spirits, holding each other and guiding each other on. And what a beautiful time to be alive and to help assist the next 7 generations coming in. Big things that we're creating for this new earth, for Gaia. And this work is for Gaia.
Gaia, we love you. All right, you guys. So if you are interested in more information about ayahuasca, plant medicine, finding a practitioner who is a good fit for you, you can reach out to me at surisawyer.com. You can also reach out to Colleen at enchantedhealing.com.
Center.
Enchantedhealingcenter.com. There it is on the bottom of the screen, enchantedhealingcenter.com. You can also find Colleen at Colleen Ariel on Facebook, as well as YouTube. Remember, Colleen Mermaid, Colleen Ariel. And you can find me at Suri Sawyer. We would be happy to answer any questions that you have, because this is a big topic. And although we spoke for an hour, I feel like we did not scratch the surface. We didn't even a little bit scratch the surface of what is possible and the different stories that we have to share about this work and this art. Any messages that you want to share before we go?
I just want to share how much I am honored to have met this beautiful being, Suri, and the beautiful medicine woman that she is. We should do a show on just on her gifts and who she is and what she offers. And yeah, the time is now to not hide our voices. And I am here on the mountain to really rise and be transparent and to share. And so grateful for a sisterhood in this time that can hold this kind of container, which is a strong container, you know, for the masculine and the feminine to reweave the balance within. And just truly honored to have met you and to have worked with you. And your medicine is so pure. And I'm grateful to hold these retreats with you. And I trust that those who wish to come sit with us, it'll be beautiful. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
And as always, thank you so much for your time and giving your attention to this. Thank you for your listening. Thank you for giving your attention to sound. Thank you for your observation. Thank you for receiving. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be loved. Ciao, people.